Hey everyone, welcome back to Shkrets, your go-to spot for the real stories and deep dives. Today's episode is all about Megan Thee Stallion's new documentary on Prime in Her Words. Now, I'll be real, I've never been a huge fan of Megan. The whole Kelsey betrayal incident left a mark on how I saw her, but after watching this documentary, I might just see her in a different light. Let's talk about it. So, if you haven't seen In Her Words, the documentary covers the last 5 years of Megan's life, including her journey through fame, family, and heartbreak. And I have to say, it doesn't hold back. Right from the start, we get to see her upbringing, her closeness to her mom, who was her biggest fan, and her inspiration to start rapping, her dad's time away in prison, and then later, his passing, obviously left an impact. When he got out, they were inseparable until she lost him, which only pushed her harder to make her dreams a reality. Her mom's role in her career is also a huge theme here. She was more than just a supporter. She was her manager, her backbone, her everything. Seeing Megan talk about the love her mom had for her and her music hit different. Not everyone gets that kind of support. It's a powerful foundation, and it shapes how she's handled her rise in this industry. Now, the documentary takes us through her early grind, freestyles, ciphers, and battles. I was surprised to see how far back her hustle went, and it's clear she worked for this. People love to throw around the industry plant label, but seeing those years of footage and hearing about her local label struggles, it's hard to ignore the dedication she put in. That part alone made me reevaluate some assumptions I'd held. And then, of course, we get to the 2020 incident, the night Megan was shot. They don't sugarcoat it. They show her sharing painful details, admitting that she doesn't remember everything clearly, and explaining how she even tried to protect the person who hurt her by initially lying to the police. This is where it gets complicated, because the documentary makes it clear how betrayed she felt by Kelsey. Now, I have my reservations about Megan because of that fallout, but seeing her recount that night with so much hurt and confusion softened my perspective just a bit. It got me thinking about the complexity of friendship and fame, especially for someone in her position. Losing her mom and not having her dad meant Megan relied on friends as her chosen family. Kelsey was a huge part of her life. And while I still question some things about that situation, the documentary helped me understand just how isolated she must have felt after that betrayal. It doesn't excuse everything, but it adds context. What stood out, though, was Megan's transparency about her coping methods. She was candid about turning to alcohol and partying as a way to numb the pain, especially after losing her mom and facing so much public scrutiny. There's a powerful segment where she's seen partying nonstop, drinking straight from the bottle. And while it's easy to judge, the documentary sheds light on how so many people turn to similar coping mechanisms when they're dealing with trauma. Watching her spiral, I felt a mix of empathy and frustration. It's like you want to tell her to slow down, but at the same time, you understand why she was doing it. When it comes to her career, the documentary highlights her relentless dedication. Even in her darkest moments, Megan continued recording, rehearsing, and performing. They show her rehearsing on days when she's sick, exhausted, and emotionally drained. It's a side of celebrity life that we don't always see. People are quick to judge, but how many would have the strength to keep pushing forward like that? It's a reminder of just how much dedication it takes to survive in the industry, especially as a woman. Recently, Megan took a strong stand against cyberbullying by suing a popular YouTuber who was a key instigator in the online harassment she endured. This YouTuber had been a loud voice in questioning Megan's credibility and was instrumental in fueling hateful narratives around her story. Watching her take legal action, shows how Megan is not only trying to protect her reputation, but also pushing back against the harmful spread of misinformation online. This move adds another layer of resilience to her journey. She's fighting not only for herself, but also for accountability in an era where online harassment is often brushed off. What about the aftermath? Well, the documentary shows how much harassment and hate she's endured. From accusations of lying to online hate campaigns, Megan's had to deal with more negativity than most people could imagine. Even as she fights for justice, there are still voices trying to discredit her, and the documentary doesn't shy away from showing that. You see her carrying this weight while still managing to be Megan Thee Stallion for her fans. Since the documentary came out, I've seen tons of posts zeroing in on Megan admitting she lied to Gayle King in that interview, using it as fuel for the "she can't be trusted" and "free Tory Lanez" crowd. And this is exactly the problem. The documentary shows us why so many women don't come forward when they're victimized. Yes, she lied, and she admitted that during the trial. So why is there this constant fixation on it? Why does hip-hop media refuse to dig deeper or even check the facts? It was established in court that she and Tory were intimate, so there was no perjury. And sure, I can agree that it was wrong of her to be involved with someone she knew her friend had history with, but let's be clear, sleeping with Tory doesn't justify him shooting her. It's also fascinating and honestly frustrating to compare the way Megan's trauma was dismissed versus how Kanye was treated after losing his mom. When Kanye spiraled, people brushed it off as grief, giving him endless leeway. Megan, on the other hand, wasn't granted that same grace after losing both her mother and grandmother. The double standard is stark. Now, am I suddenly a hottie after watching this? No. But I'll say this, the documentary made me respect her resilience in a new way. I still have questions, and I'm still critical of some of the choices she made, especially with her friendships. That betrayal with Kelsey still lingers in my mind, but watching her struggle and understanding more about her background, her coping, and her determination, I can't ignore the strength she's shown. It's not just about the music or the fame. It's about surviving in an industry that's ruthless, and she's managed to keep going despite everything. So, what's my takeaway? This documentary might not make a fan out of everyone, but it gives us a deeper look at Megan beyond the headlines and drama. I'm not saying I'll be playing her tracks on repeat, but I can admit I've gained a new level of respect for her grind, her vulnerability, and her courage to keep pushing forward even when people are against her. For me, that's the real story here. Not the glitz or the glam, but the raw grit that keeps her going. What do you all think? Does hearing someone's full story make you feel any differently? If you've seen the documentary, do you feel closer to her story? Let's discuss it in the comments below. And hey, if you're new here, don't forget to subscribe if you like my vibe. Until next time, keep questioning, keep thinking, and I'll see you soon.